Welcome to this video. In this video, we will talk about the autonomous system design. So this video will cover the design of the autonomous system and the main components of the autonomous system, also the technologies that use in autonomous system. So guys, we see, okay, first, okay, the main components of the system. I think it's, you know why this will help you, actually, all of this topic today will help you to select your system. And the second things also, when you applying our method, which is the commit methods, you will know the basic, you'll know what's the component of the system. Then you can see what the classes that you want for each components. So we'll start with the main components of the systems, the parts of the autonomous system. All we are talking about the autonomous system. Okay, so the parts of the autonomous system. This one actually is part of. Okay, this one should be here. Okay, and the types of, because one part of is the type of autonomous robotics, the sensors, and the third is the technologies for developing autonomous system. Maybe here we can say in the first part we'll talk about the hardware. In the first parts we'll talk about the hardware until here, and the second things about the software, the AI. Also the technologies that use in developing and designing the system, as well in testing the system. So maybe here is the components, which is the hardware, the sensors, the external device, the input device, and then the output or the software. So the outcome of this class, okay, you will be, in the end, you have to know and find what the main components. Okay, you have the system, any system. Later you can say what's the components of this system. The components here, I mean these are what we can say is the hardware components of this system. Also, you have to know that this is important, guys, because this second point, actually all the coming classes is based on this, because in our subject we are designing the autonomous system. So we will design what, or we will develop the models. For example, the requirement model, the use case model, we have another model which we call the static model, the dynamic model. All this model actually based on these 2 points. So once you know the components of your system, you can later find the classes of this system. Find the classes, that means you will be able to design the classes, the class diagram, the sequence diagram, as well the communication diagram. So but why? Because all of them is just show the relation between this component. So this is the output. So this is from the last class. We say what's the autonomous system. We can say the autonomous system is the second one. This is also the system itself. This is the device itself. So here we can say, guys, device, we can say robot, we can say machine, we can say. So in the end, we are talking about the autonomous device, autonomous machine, autonomous robot. So all of them is the same. So this is from the previous class. We say the autonomous is a device that performs a behavior or task with high degree of the autonomy without external influence. Okay, maybe just programming the system, put the instruction for the system, and then the system should work autonomously without influence from any external, even another device or human. Okay, so sometimes if we have device and connecting or give instruction to another device, all this is, we cannot consider it is fully autonomous, because this is based on the another device. If both without influence from the any third external, so maybe this also we can say is both is autonomous together. So the autonomous system is a computer system, is a system, we can say is a system that is situated in some environments and able to react autonomously in this environment to achieve the goal, to achieve the objective of this design or system. So Here the main components of, you can say, any system or any device. We have something we call it the sensors. In general, actually, guys, in the end, you will see different, not as because here I just try to focus or make it is more related to the hardware. So I say sensors. In the end, you will see something like sensing, just sensing. So anything is coming from outside. Maybe it's just can anything, not only sensors. So guys, this is the main components of any autonomous system. We can say it's most of the autonomous system actually is based on the sensors, right? The sensor is one of the main components. Uh, this, as we say, is the device or machine. Okay, so this machine or this device, without this sensor, it's plain. So this is the input of this, or this is the life of this robot or this autonomous system. So the second one is the controller. We will see what the controller later we will see. I will not give now because this one also we have another slide for actuators and power supplies. So this is the main components of any system. Any system. So later when I give you a system, you have to tell me what we can say is the sensors or what the input in general. Input, maybe if we say input is better. But okay, we can say sensors. So here the relation between them, how they work together. Okay, we can say all is related to each other. All is related to each other. Also related with the environments. If you see here, only the sensors and actuators. Why sensors and actuators? Because we can say this is the input. This is the input of the system. Anything it's coming from the out or from the environments, it's come from it's come through the sensors, and then the internal or process. After that, the output is through the actuators. So maybe you can see now what's the function for each one. You know now the function of each one based on this diagram. The function of the sensor is the input. The input. So all the devices input. Okay, guys. Sorry, I will maybe don't get confused. Sometimes when I say autonomous device, we mean the system at all, the robot at all, the machine at all. Okay. When I say the input device, that means okay, maybe one of the sensors. The output device, maybe one of the output device. So here, any output or any input device as a sensors, keyboard, or anything, any other things, it's considered as the input, and it's the input for the system. And the other things, it's on, and in the other hand or in the other side, we have the output is the actuators. So any actuators, it's coming or any output, should go through these actuators. Here we say the input. So I say the input like a sensors. For example, it's okay. Any example? For example, the touch screen. This is okay. Once you touch the screen, is the input for your mobile, right? So the output, output we can say is like display screen. Okay, this is output. The output like in the elevators, output we can say is the motor. Motor will change or will move the elevators. So this is also is output. Sorry guys. So this is just to explain all the inputs will be through the sensors and the output through the actuators. So the sensors actually we say okay, the autonomous system without these sensors to receive the information from the outside, the environments, it's deaf and blind. So cannot do anything because we cannot sense anything from the environments. And as you know, our systems, or we can say is the main properties of this system is situated and in environments and react based on these and based on the environment action. So if there is no sensors to receive the information, to sense the information from the environment, so our system will be plain and deaf. So nothing, he cannot sense anything. So this is the main input of the systems, the main input of the systems. So also the input or the sensors, or we can say in general, the sensors provide real-time information on the task environments. Okay, maybe also based on the sensors or based on the current information also, because here we talk about the real-time information as well, real-time systems, real-time systems. So if you remember last week we talked about the vacuums, right? So maybe cleaning. Okay, if we talk about, for example, the vacuums that can clean until it's, I mean, at stop if the house or if the room it's clean, completely clean. So this kind of check, need to check if the room is clean or not, clean or not. So this one also, the sensors can provide real-time information. Because maybe if, for example, you are in the room, so you come to this place, there is some dust or some dirt, so it's clean. The vacuum clean it. And then after that, maybe if I want to come the same place, so the sensor now will provide me some information, real-time information. It's already cleaning, so no need to clean again. So the robot sensor is a device that can detect the physical signal and convert it into the electronic signal. Okay, this one is clear. So here's some example of the sensors, or we can say of the input. So all these guys, what we call it is a sensors, but in fact, actually in our this is in the last slide I mentioned that. This is in last slide I mentioned that. All this type you can see this external what? Input device. Okay, external input device. Okay, in general we have two types of the input of this external device. It's input device and output device. So all the sensors, it's external input device. When we want to develop the diagrams and the models, actually we are talking only about, and we will not go, okay, the light sensors. Okay, you can mention the light sensors, but in the end we are using only few terms. So we just write, for example, input device. This is the input device, as we can say, as a class or as an object is connected, for example, to the controller. You can say just the output device, the input device. Okay, so all of these devices, it's external devices to that system. Why we say external device? Don't get confused. External device because it's not the system. We are designing the system, so this is considered as external in term or regarding to the system. So not external does mean we have another device or we have another machine. No, it's in the same machine or in the same system, but it's external to the system itself. So here, this is the type of sensors. Just in quick, we just see some of them. For example, here is the light sensors. Okay, guys, light sensors just okay to sense the light, of the energy, and then this light actually later to convert to another type of electronic. These guys, you say, okay, sometime if you go, you know, these light sensors, if you go someplace maybe, or you know, this is, for example, some lamp or light, once you go to the room, it will on. Or I mean, in night, it will on, in the day, it will off. So this is use this kind of sensors, light sensors. We have the another one is the sound sensors. Sound sensors is similar to light sensor, but this is actually it's sense what the sound, sense the sound and retain the voltage. And then this is actually as we say, all of these sensors convert one kind or one type of the, we can say, the signal into another type. So here the sound will be detected and then convert to another type, which is voltage, similar to electronic uh, device. So here they give an example of this. For example, if you have, for example, in the club, for example, I say if you have in one club, it will light, in two club, it will off, something like, okay, make uh, some, we can say is some actions. So this one is how they use it. This one is temperatures. You know, the temperature actually is to sense the current temperature. So maybe can use it for some if in the room, okay, maybe in the room, if okay you want the room it's to stay or in the some in certain degree, so this is also used for measure the temperature. Okay, this is contact sensors. So where we can use this one, where we can use it, you know guys, if you have door and you want to make the door is auto open and close, so we can use this kind of sensors. They call it is contact sensors. So once the door is closed, it shows something like we have a one circle, it will lock. Okay, if the door is open, so this contact sensor will open, and then maybe you can check if the sensor is if the door is open, that means you will check this sensor, you will receive the information from this sensor. For example, if the sensor is open for 5 minutes, so maybe you give alert to another device that okay, the door is open now. Maybe they give some sound that please close or something like this. So this one is the pressure. You know, this is what mean the pressure sensors. Pressure sensors to measure the pressure. Here, for example, something is related to the air. If you want to fill up something air, maybe in some certain degree, this maybe can sense okay now the pressure is in this certain, so can reduce or decrease. So the actuators and the controllers. Okay, as I told you, the actuators actually is this is the output. Anything is related to the output. It's for example like the motors, which is convert the, for example, the energy to the movement. Okay, so this one it's the actuators, like the arms of the robot arms. So also this is part of the actuators. What else, guys? Maybe if we say in the actuators, maybe also can be in the fridge, for example. Okay, convert also, because anything is convert the one type of the energy to another type. So also can be in the fridge, can be in the microwave. There is some actuators there. So in the refrigerators, the electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy by the motor, and the motors run the comparison, and then the comparison heat the refrigerator. So this is an example of the actuators. Actuators are also designed to perform some specific function, like moving item or device through the certain limited distance. So okay, anything is related to convert the electronic, not exactly electronic, to another types, to any type of electronic to or energy to another type of the energy. We can say this is it's the actuators. But here actually when we say actuators, we talk about motors. Motors mostly is the movement, the reaction. of your robot or your system. The actuators, we can consider it as the external output device. External output device. So there I will ask what's the external output device or what the output device here. So the controller. The controller actually, what's the controller? The controllers, this is why it's here. Okay, the controller is the coordinators. So if you see in the first figure, I don't want to go back to that figure, we have many items, or we can say many components, which is the sensors, the actuators, the power supply, the controller. So the controller, from the name, the one is control all of these. As they mention here is the coordinators. The coordinators that control this item together. So the controller here, we have many tabs. We can say is we have one tab of them is the algorithms. One is which one is taking the same name controller. Later, I mean, when we study or when we start modeling the system, we will see these different types. Okay, most of them, okay, I mean, maybe the main one is the coordinators. Also, we have algorithms. Algorithm also is can control another's. This is why we say is algorithm also is kind of the coordinators or kind of the controller, because if we have algorithm, for example, processing the data, algorithm for processing any data. So this is where we receive some data, and then based on this data, maybe can send information to another object, and then maybe can make some, we can say some actions. So this is also kind of controller. So also the algorithm is controller. Okay, this is also is related to the control. So anything is control other another items in the system. Here in the last one, they say the coordinator or the controller function is the brain of the robots. And the controller can also network to the other system so that the autonomous robot may work together with other machines. So controller, it's the brain. This is good words, the brain. So that can control others. Maybe you have many now items, you have many input, many output device, you have and you have also the coordinator or the controller to control these items. So guys, this is maybe okay. The last one is the power supply. It's power supply. Power supply is to provide the items or the other parts of the system by the power, by the power to move. In general, we say the power. In general, we say the power to do their job. So this is actually will not. This is, you can say it's not input, not output device. That's why they put it as separate part, which is the power supplies.